Hello and welcome to the final and 17th round of the 2019 Formula Virtual World Championship here from Sao Paulo, Brazil. My name is Bradley Downton and I'll be joined today not by Lily Westwood, but in a last minute change by Robert Mathershaw, who is currently making his way up from the pit lane to the commentary box for the very first time. Today then the drivers will tackle 71 laps of this 4.309km circuit. Johan Halvorsen holds the lap record from 2016. Klaas van Snelheid won last time out. He needs to replicate that again today if he's to become the champion then. Ruiz only needs to finish in the top 7 to take the title. Such is his advantage. Let's take a look at the grid then and how they line up and see what could be possible. On pole position, it's the wrong Downton. It's Nathaniel Powers then after a sublime lap in a wet qualifying session yesterday. He starts on the extra soft tyres, however. Championship leader Enrique Ruiz is alongside on the mediums. Klaas van Snelheid starts from the same tyre in third, was the only other driver within a second of the top 2 in qualifying yesterday. Adrian Simon goes from 4th on the soft tyres. 5th is the second Franklin of Timo Kinnaman in what is their final race today. He is on the medium tyres. Lewis Ellington goes from 6th once again. Great effort in the Meteor. He is on the soft tyres. 7th, and this is a real surprise row, Puccio Giordano in the Ocelot on the soft tyres and Carson Davenport in the Lucas on the extra soft. Both of them phenomenal efforts yesterday in the wet session, and we'll be hoping to hold on to decent positions. Mario Juan Lopez and Felix Perez round out the top 10 on the soft and medium tyres respectively for Meteor and First. Just outside 11th and 12th we've got the two Ingrams, Jean Matson and James Vazquez lining up on the same row, row 6. Matson on the hards, Vazquez on the softs for this one, Ingram splitting their strategy. Alexander Zazolia will go from 13th for first on the medium tyres. Elroy Wagner is on the same compound in 14th alongside him for Lopez. Back on row 8, Thierry Zylander in the first of the DS Phoenix cars. Disappointing qualifying session for them. Zylander on the medium tyres. Will Hoskins goes from 16th on the hards, as Andromeda have seemed to do recently. Alar Kanga starts from 17th. It was a disappointing qualifying from the Estonian. He's on the softs, as is Arden Hutchinson, the second of the Lucas cars, alongside him in 18th. 19th and 20th, we've got the two North Stars. Very, very disappointing qualifying for the British team. They will be hoping to recover some of that in the race. Both their drivers will start on the mediums, with Halvorsen leading the pair. Rodolfo De La Fuente, also on the hards for Andromeda, and also their final race, goes from 21st. Dmitro Kovalenko out-qualifies Finn Schneider for the season, starts from 22nd on the softs. Sergio Alvarez on the mediums from 23rd. Victor Rosberg, 24th, also on the mediums in his final Formula Virtual race. And on the back row of the grid then, we've got Hunter Ryan in the Ocelot on the softs and Diego Campos for Chima on the mediums. So as we go down to the grid then, it's Nathaniel Powers in pole position on the left, Enrique Ruiz, championship leader, alongside him on the right. It's a long hold here in Brazil. The lights go out now and we're racing in Interlagos. It looks as though it's a great start from Kinnaman in 5th, but Powers holding the lead then as they head down to turn 1. Enrique Ruiz is well behind him in 2nd place. Klaas slots into 3rd, just clear of Adrian Simon then, who's trying to get around the outside but can't make it. Ellington 5th, Kinnaman 6th. As Powers leads, but Ruiz has flown through the centre S in the opening lap then, is up and alongside Nathaniel Powers. They head into turn 4. Powers is on the outside and holds the lead. Ruiz couldn't quite make that one work.
So yeah, going down the inside there for Ruiz looks a little bit of an iffy move there on the green track. It'd be interesting to see whether that move starts to develop later on during the race.
Yeah, track very green at the moment. We had some rain not a few hours ago. It's the track has dried out. Everyone is on the slick tyres, as we've got a yellow flag in the middle sector. Just wondering if there's been an incident towards the Dmitro Kovalenko and Hunter Ryan. Oh, and in fact that is Hunter Ryan out of the race.
Yeah, that's a pretty significant move for the rear end of the field there.
So Hunter Ryan becomes the first retiree from the last race of the season. I'm sure we'll see him again next year, back in Australia for his home race. Meanwhile, up front, Nathaniel Powers already 1.7 seconds clear, but let's not forget, we're very much expecting this. He is the only driver in the field on the extra soft tyres, as that's Davenport defending from James Vazquez and trying to get past, I think that's Felix Perez as well at the same time. Carson Davenport running still in 8th place after qualifying there yesterday in what was a atrociously wet qualifying. Stunning effort from the Portuguese driver.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking out the front, Powers has grown the gap to nearly 2 seconds already. That's really important, of course, with him being on the extra soft tyres to Ruiz's mediums. If he's going to have any chance of taking victory, which I know isn't necessarily what the Downton team are hoping for, then he really does need to.
Here we go. Sorry, on board with Dmitry Kovalenko. So he dived up the inside. I think that was Hutchinson, and that is absolutely atrocious from the Ukrainian.
Yeah,
not the first time we've seen it this season. Was it not Kovalenko that took Kinnaman out of the lead in Indianapolis?
yes, I believe you're right.
Maybe he needs to be taken out and shot.
Yeah, certainly disciplined. Perhaps points on his license, race ban, something like that would do the trick.
Being shot a little harsh?
I don't know. Whether it is Brazil, so he might get shot on the way out of the circuit.
Well, that's entirely... Nathaniel Powers is pitted already.
Oh, this could be a very
long race. He's lost his front wing. Powers then, from the lead of the race on lap 2, is already into the pits, minus a front wing.
That's incredible. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, so on board then. Oh, he's hit the wheel.
Oh!
Nathaniel Powers then, from the lead of the race, as the first driver on the track, has hit the wheel that was in the middle of the track, left over from the Kovalenko Hunter Ryan accident. And, well, that's completely ruined Powers' race.
Yeah, it's going to be a long way back towards the front here with so many pit stops left to go just with the tyre strategy, plus another one forced upon him.
Yeah, and obviously that was a very, very weird call from Downton to put Powers on the extra softs. I mean, we've got temperatures in the low 20s here. It's never normally the sort of spectrum you'd see the extra soft tyres in. But we can confirm it was that strategy was pretty much to get Powers out of the way. Let's not forget, this championship fight is between Enrique Ruiz and Klaas van Snelheid. For Downton's Klaas van Snelheid to win it, he has to win the race.
Yeah, I mean, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place there very much. I know that it wasn't an easy decision by the Downton team.
Oh, it was very easy.
Well, to purposefully make one of your drivers at such a significant disadvantage from the word go is not an easy decision to make. But ultimately, I think everyone would surely agree that that's the right one if you're actually looking to achieve what
we were borderline putting Campos in the car.
Okay, that would... Oh my god, it's raining. There is rain on the circuit.
Yeah.
And
so there we go then. It was very much predicted. We were told before the race there were showers about, and as I mentioned a minute ago, we did have a shower a mere couple of hours before the race, but it dried up. Didn't amount to a whole lot and dried up. So to say, drivers are all on slicks, but we do have rain then here at Interlagos, but only, it seems, very localised at the moment, as on board with Elroy Wagner in the middle sector, but dry as a bone.
Yeah, as with the weather often in Interlagos, it's coming in from the south side of the circuit over where the lake is, so it's the kind of the two lowest points on the circuit, and it should probably gradually move its way upwards.
Yeah, very much so then, as Carson Davenport now up to 7th, obviously following Powers' pit stop, but still defending really well from Mario Juan Lopez in an Infinity car that's probably shown to be the third quickest in recent races.
Yeah, I think that the Lucas is very much benefiting from straight line speed from that Downton engine, though. I think it hasn't got an awful lot of downforce, which means that it's good through the air, so that combined with such a strong motor, it's got to be good for it.
Such a polite way of saying it's a bit shit.
Every car has its benefits, it's just that some are more limited than others.
As Nathaniel Powers, unsurprisingly, on extra soft tyres and in clear air, sets the fastest lap. Unfortunately, he's down in 24th and probably out of this one already. As up front, Enrique Ruiz leads them by nearly 2 seconds from Klaas van Snelheid. Simon is just a couple of tenths back from the Dutchman, so not working for the last at the moment, as Johan Halverson breezes around the outside of his teammate.
That was a rather incredible move. I think if Halverson can play it smart, he can almost follow Kanga now, and even... Although, actually, yeah, round the outside there from Garcia.
Sorry, I was just realised I could make my screen a bit bigger.
That's always helpful. If you look out the window, you can see the entire circuit.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Rather neat, isn't it?
Why does it look like Monza? Am I in the wrong place?
You may well be.
Well, shit.
that does take me back to my favourite comment from Martin Haven, who comments on various inferior real-life motorsport series, that he is an aficionado of the windowless commentary box.
Yes.
Kurt?
I expected that to go on a bit longer, so I decided to take the opportunity to have a drink, and you sort of stopped a bit quicker than I was expecting.
I mean, I stopped. What? Sorry?
That. So we were just on board with Lopez, right?
Yes.
Davenport's on the extra soft tyres as well.
Okay. So that may...
It's the two Andromedas nearly come together. And that was, I think, De La Fuente up the inside of his teammate Will Hoskins. And this then obviously the end of Andromeda's first season in Formula Virtual, but also the end of their career.
Yeah, it's a sad move that we're going to see Andromeda disappear from the grid after only one season. They've been a very popular team. Personally, I think the livery is stunning, and actually, it's quite a nice send-off for them to be able to race at their home race for the first and only time.
Yeah, very much so. Andromeda are a team that, while they've not been around long, they have made quite an impact. I think they've been quite popular in the paddock. They've certainly brought some added colour and flair. Not that it was needed, but I mean, we will always take more colour and flair.
Most definitely.
And yes, it will be very much a shame to see them go.
Yeah, it's interesting though that they will be replaced on the grid by Arrow. Ben Farrell's new team. They look like they're a really solid outfit, and they're gonna bring a level of professionalism to their first season in Formula Virtual.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing another team on the grid with some orange, as we've some orange in their livery, as we've already found out. And I'm also looking forward to the several times during commentary over the year where I screw up and call them arrows.
Well, it's the fact they are going to be the orange arrow rather than the orange arrows, so it's like doubly confusing for me at least.
But there will be two of them, so if you say it as a pair, they will be the orange arrows. Yes,
as opposed to back in the early 2000s when it was the orange arrows. I have it on good authority.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Up front then, Enrique Ruiz still leads. He's 2.5 seconds clear now of his title rival. We should probably just mention what exactly is going on in the championship. Obviously, we covered it in the pre-race, but essentially, Klaas has to, as Timo Kinnaman dives down the inside of Lewis Ellington for 4th place at turn 4, but he didn't quite make it through there, but he's kept himself up the inside, and wheel to wheel with Lewis Ellington. Kinnaman now will have the outside line. He'll sweep round and up into 4th goes the Finn then in, I was going to say his final race for Franklin, but I mean we'll touch base on that one a little bit later.
Absolutely, I think there's a topic of its own.
It most definitely is.
Yeah.
But yes, the championship. So Ruiz leads by, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head now. Is it 19 points?
You're asking the wrong person there, but it's been billed quite widely as a straight fight, but unfortunately for Downton and for
Has it?
It's far from a straight fight, because all the cards are stacked in Ruiz's favour. As you say, Van Schnellheid ultimately needs a win and for other things to go in his favour. So it's going to be a tough ask for the young Dutchman. But if anybody on the grid this season can take the fight to Enrique Ruiz, it has to be him. He has been magnificent all season, and it would be a just reward for him to be able to walk out of Brazil as world champion.
Yeah, well, mind you, if he took it from Ruiz, I'm not entirely sure he'd walk out of Brazil.
I don't know. I believe that Downton have got the armoured car ready to get into the Sao Paulo airport.
We then, people like get t-shirts and that prepared, but
Yes.
It's always sort of like a bit sketchy, isn't it? Because if you don't do it, then you then look like a bit of a muppet. That's the reason we've not got him an armoured car.
Can I cast your mind back about 12 months to the end of last season?
I kind of hoped we might avoid this topic.
No.
We've got a Lopez off track. We can avoid this topic. That is Elroy Wagner, and as he's got Alar Kanga going around the outside of him, might see those two on track again together next year.
Yes, absolutely. Good save there. I like that. I think it's already been
along with several other drivers, obviously, like
yes,
Matson and Zylander.
It has been rumoured that Alain Kanga will have an expanded role, shall we say, as part of the Porsche setup for next season. It's widely assumed that 2 of the 3 drivers in the top 3 of this race will be racing for the Coca-Cola Porsche team. So that does leave Alain Kanga with a bit of a conundrum. And remains to be seen where he is going to end up. But obviously he's an immensely talented driver, in my entirely unbiased opinion. So it'll be interesting to see how he does with the challenges faced next season.
It most certainly will, as that's Vasquez there looking down the inside of Puccio Giordano, who slipped a couple of places but still holding onto a point scoring position at the moment in 10th. As the rain continues to fall here in Brazil, not yet heavy enough for anyone to dive for the pit lane and try the intermediate or even wet tyres, but lap times have dropped off.
Very much so. Going back to what you were saying with Giordano and again with Davenport, it is, of all the circuits, to be a backmarker that has got a good result from qualifying, this is probably one of the places to do it. Because as I say, those slippery cars through the air, it's ultimately it's a circuit with a very, very long straight up the hill and into turn 1. So if there's anywhere they'll be able to defend well for the entirety of a race, this is it.
Yeah, I think three circuits initially to me really stand out as tracks you just mentioned there that you can qualify well as a backmarker and kind of hold your position. Yeah. This being one of them, Australia being another, as we saw at the start of the year with a wet qualifying session.
Absolutely,
slightly unusual order with Elroy Wagner finishing 6th in a Lopez that, let's be fair, really shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
And Jerez, where you, as long as you pick the right tyres, you'll finish well.
Yes. Tyres with sufficient rubber to complete the final stint would be good, yes.
Yes.
But, it's an interesting one. That actually, it's the 2 extremes. It's if it's a track with a very, very long straight or with significantly long straight, such as Monza, where the slipstream effect is minimised and good aerodynamics in a straight line is always helpful. And then it goes to the other extreme, like as you say, with somewhere like Jerez or Albert Park, where the circuit is so tight that ultimately it's just impossible to get past unless you are significantly quicker.
Oh, as speaking of significantly quicker, Alain Kanga drives clean around the outside of Elroy Wagner launches back up the inside at the very next corner and nearly straight into the side pod of the Estonian. And Kanga, I think, rather sensibly decides to let him go as we've got the leaders in the pits then. Ruiz is carried on though, but Klaas, Simon, Ellington, they're all in, and it's for the wet tyres.
It'll be interesting here. If they've gone a lap early, Ruiz is going to get a significant advantage. But if everybody else is right, then Ruiz might not even make it round the lap.
Given literally everyone behind Ruiz has pitted here, I'd assume they've made the right call. And look at the time now. Suddenly as Klaas is out of the pit lane and he's just tearing tenths off of Enrique Ruiz as suddenly Ruiz is just getting 2 seconds though.
That was literally a split-second call there by most of the drivers. I think that the Downton and DS...
Oh, we've got an accident in the pit lane. That is Sergio Alvarez and Jean Matson, who are both out of this race then. That's causing chaos in the pit exit. Look at that. We've got the North Stars tangled up there. Is that the second Phoenix of Thierry Zylander tangled up as well?
I am unsure. 42, yes.
It is, yes.
They're now without front wing.
So chaos there as Ruiz now does pit, and the gap was down to 12 seconds between himself and Klaas as he entered the pits.
While the Franklin team may have made a bit of an error with the timing of that instant in the pit lane has saved them massively because they'll drop far less low down because everybody else was held up for so long.
It can't have been 12 seconds because Klaas had been passed by now. I think the timing screen was either the timing screen was a little squiffy or my eyes were. But, Ruiz has held on there absolutely fantastically. And, this was Matson then. So, he was alongside one of the firsts coming down the pit apron. And,
I think the
didn't see the Phoenix.
The Phoenix had an engine failure just before it got to the pit.
No, I think the Phoenix was just pulling into his pit box. Because Alvarez still had the medium tyres on.
Oh, right, okay.
And Matson was so focused on the first to his right hand side, he totally missed Alvarez slowing and entering his pit box.
absolutely. I do question the judgment of the placement of that final pit box, because it is right on the inside of the corner.
As on board with Nathaniel Powers then.
Oh.
So it's 13 laps in. He's already pitted 3 times. He was on the intermediates just then. So there were a few drivers who got the call wrong then. Ostberg, Powers, Matson and Zylander have pitted for new front wings, but Ostberg and Powers went on to the intermediates, and it seems to have been the wrong call, and just 1 lap later they're back in.
That's extremely very interesting. What you might find is that they were significantly far round the lap, but obviously almost a lap down. They've taken the risk because they're so far back, and Ruiz, not wanting to take that same risk, has carried on for a lap.
Yeah, really. 13 laps in, and Powers is over a minute off the lead.
All hell has broken loose.
It's certainly been a bit chaotic, hasn't it? But up front, it's absolutely. Davenport's gone up to 6th.
I would say, for all that all hell has broken loose, everything has stayed much the same. Although I would like to give Chima a bit of a shout out for Campos in 14.
That's not bad, having started last.
That's what I'm thinking. It's rather impressive.
I think yes, but as you were saying, up front then, things have remained very much the same. And just going back earlier to the talk of the championship, because we never actually really got round to explaining what the situation was.
Yeah.
Having now looked it up, because my memory is that terrible, Ruiz is indeed 19 points clear of Class Mansion-Alhide. So he also has more wins. So if Ruiz finishes 7th or higher, he's champion.
Right.
Regardless of what Class does. Class needs to win with Ruiz 8th or lower.
Yeah, I think that Downton team, I think Class needs some luck.
A meteor.
And to be honest, if there's going to be a set of conditions that produces that kind of result, this is it. I certainly don't think it's game over.
It's Brazil in the rain. Anything can happen.
Exactly. Somebody could slow on the wrong tyres on the final lap, going up through Zhongchao. I don't know where I've seen that before.
No, do you know, it vaguely rings a bell as something from some other series somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be our Roy Wagner. He could play the role of the German.
No, he's too shit. Sorry, the car's too shit.
I thought you were going to say he's not German enough. But
oh, he's definitely German enough.
Yeah. I think, honestly, at this point, it's my first race as colour commentator, and I'm speechless.
Wow, it only took 15 laps. 14 laps, we're on lap 15.
To be fair, it's the first time I've been speechless in a long time. I think it's the first time I've ever been speechless since I've known you.
I would most definitely agree with that one. Just intrigued, actually. Davenport in 6th is really piquing my curiosity. And that's why. So just checking the championship. Well, Lucas haven't had the best of years, let's be fair. It's not been the most fantastic of comeback seasons.
Absolutely.
They currently sit on a grand total this year of 0 points.
Okay.
6th is worth 8.
This has been an infinite increase in their points total. I like it.
I would say 800%, but that's not right.
No, that
you can't have a percentage increase on 0. There you go, folks. Maths.
He's right, you know.
That would put Lucas 10th in the championship.
Wow.
One race result.
That would be an incredible. Would Ocelot influence that with Giordano in 7th?
What would that be worth? 6 points. They currently only have 1, so no.
But no, it wouldn't. Oh wow. Okay. Without wanting to be harsh on Lucas, I don't think that would necessarily reflect the season as a whole. But at the same time, absolutely fair play. That would be a crucial result for the Lucas team.
It most certainly would. We will keep an eye on that and how things potentially pan out at the bottom of the Constructors' Championship, because I mean, up front, the first 4 teams are already, I think, locked in positions, are they not?
For all we've had a title fight that has gone down to the wire between 2 teams, and for a long time there were 5 or 6 drivers that look possibly in with a shout. Everything has kind of stagnated over the latter part of the 2019 season.
Yeah, and as we say, Downton were confirmed last time out as Constructors' Champions, second time in their history. Franklin will finish their final season in Formula Virtual, which we will touch on, in second place. DS Mathershaw third in their final year with DS Automobiles as a brand, and first are fourth, or up fourth first.
Fourth are first. No, first is fourth. What? Yes, you are correct.
Third is not second.
No. You've confused me here. It's always helpful.
Wonderful. I shall tick that off my bingo sheet. It's another thing achieved. The first one was having Powers running last in the race.
Yes, I think you got mission accomplished there very much.
So that wheel was planned.
Yeah. Okay. What car did it come off?
Hunter Ryan's an Ocelot.
Ah, okay. Fair enough.
I'd tell you the others, but if they come true, I'm going to look like I actually control this thing.
Yeah, you're going to look like you've rigged it.
I am. Like, if I'd say one of the other things on there is for Ruiz to retire.
Yes, but okay. I mean, I don't think I'd ever wish retirement on any driver.
Go if it gives me the championship, absolutely.
No, I understand. Yes, I wouldn't necessarily.
Well, look, come on. What else?
No.
For me to win the title with class, he needs to win the race with Ruiz 8th or lower. Let's be fair, that car and that driver are too good a combination that he is not going to actually finish 8th or lower. So he needs to retire.
Absolutely. Yes. So how far off is he? So let's have a look. 8th or lower is 29 seconds at the moment and rapidly increasing.
Yes.
Very rapidly increasing as I watch it.
Yes, it's up to 31 already. I think he's just found a shortcut.
Yes, I think we should have the stewards look into that potentially.
Actually, it really is gaining time. That's up to nearly 32.5 seconds.
Yes, because I was going to make the point that actually he needs one issue and for an extra pit stop, and he's in the ballpark, but he's putting in lap times right now that are just.
Mind you, he's just lost a bit. I think the timing screen might be a little bit haywire.
I think
probably there's some rain in it.
Yes.
So you know what it's like. That's Mario Juan Lopez then driving round in the car that is probably third or fourth fastest at the moment, struggling to overtake a driver who is in a car that is 12th in the championship.
I mean, Puccio Giordano is just that good.
Is he though?
No, I mean, you can read from the tone of my voice what my true opinion of Puccio Giordano is. I think he's thoroughly decent, but not outstanding, shall we say.
No, I think you're being too kind. I'd have said he's alright.
Yeah, okay. Alright works.
But yes, and Lopez probably a driver we're not going to see next year, to be fair.
Yeah, it's been a strange one for Lopez. He's been there or thereabouts to an extent, but Ellington has kind of shown him how it should be done in a car with that kind of speed.
Yeah, he absolutely has. I mean, Lopez has had the odd good performance. He was third on the grid somewhere, wasn't he?
Yeah.
We have a yellow flag in the first sector. I think it might be Matson actually, because he's just there he is. So Jean Matson, that looks like he's had a heavy accident actually on the exit of the Senna S's, and I wonder if he's just lost it on the AstroTurf on the outside of the corner there.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Good to see there the couple of cars that went past immediately after respecting the yellow flag procedure and slowing down a little bit there. That was good to see.
Yeah, and there we go. There are some more.
Yeah. Right, good work from the marshals. Instant clear. Green flag racing.
Yeah, so I'm sure we will probably get a replay at some point then. But John Matson joins the list of retirees from this race, goes up to 3 now. And here we go then, on board with the Frenchman then. So as he comes round the final part of the centre S, so I think he was letting Ruiz by, and he did indeed drift out wide onto the AstroTurf, and it just got away from him then, hit the pit wall on the inside.
Oh wow, that's it's good, obviously good of him to move out of the way as the race leader, but rule number 1 as a backman, you get this a lot in endurance racing, is if you've got a faster car behind you, stay on your line, stay on the racing line. When they get past, they'll find the way, because all that happens is that when the weather conditions are like this, or when the track's slightly green, you just end up on the marbles or on the really slick part of the track, and you end up making mistakes like that ultimately cost more for the leader anyway. Yeah,
mind you, I didn't think Ruiz actually lost out there at all, because he's now 7. Well, he was 7 seconds clear.
No, Ruiz at this point has got it's not as easy a job as you'd think though. It's the you just drive at 95%, make sure that nothing goes wrong, and sometimes that just means your concentration lapses. Something like that happening in front of him will really unsettle him, I'm sure.
Well, let's hope. Not that. Look, I'm going to come across incredibly biased in this race, but
at the
can
end
you
of
forgive
the day,
me? Even if you can't, I don't care.
At the end of the day, everyone has their own horse in this race. Nobody's going to blame anyone for supporting that.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of mine's only got 3 legs, I think.
I did it. Well, to be fair, if you're Phoenix, you probably ruined the fact that both of them are out to get shot.
Well, one of them's already been shot.
So one of them very firmly has the blind up so you can't see it.
No, it's not gone well, really, is it? It's probably a good job Alex did miss his flight and wasn't able to join us in the pit lane for this one.
Absolutely.
He might have been run over by Matson as well.
Yeah. All the horse analogies are taking me back to when I was when we were representing Liverpool and we did the publicity over during the Grand National weekend at Aintree. That was quite a fun weekend trying to take the car around the old British Grand Prix circuit.
Is it not like grassy now?
A little bit. We had to be quite careful on parts.
That's
F for the first.
So we both noticed that at exactly the same time. That was Alexander Zolya then, down in 15th after a bad qualifying, along with Al Arkanga, who's just behind him in 16th.
I was just going to say, if you're going to say that Zolya's having a bad race, look who's behind him.
Yes, well, look who's 4 places behind him. That's a bad race. He started on pole.
The problem is, though, that Power's having a bad race, but there are factors outside his control, like his team and the wheel. At the moment, unfortunately, I think Kanga just is severely lacking confidence in the car in these weather conditions. It's something we have seen quite a bit, that when the change of weather has come in, the golfing class between the 2 DS Mathershaw drivers has grown, unfortunately. Simon really seems to have refocused his efforts after this time last year, where unfortunately he didn't leave with the result that he wanted.
I wonder indeed whether there may be another reason that Kanga is struggling at the moment. It's not a lack of confidence, more so a lack of ability.
Yeah, okay. He's a young driver. He's developing very much. I think Kanga has impressed many in the paddock, and I think, you know, as his team, as his technical director, he's a very good driver with feedback. There are times when he's ragged. I'll say that.
No, I don't mean that at all. Al Arkanga is one of the few drivers on the grid I highly rate. He's obviously just having a difficult time of it at the moment.
I mean, I'm the technical director of the team, and I was blaming the thing that I designed. So that tells you how highly I probably actually do regard Kanga.
Indeed.
You know?
As Gabriele Garcia then, in his home race, currently running in the points, just in front of his teammate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good effort. He's been re-signed for next year now as well.
Yes, I'm quite glad to see that. He's kind of flown under the radar for me a little bit.
Yeah, that's because he hasn't really done anything.
Well, that's what I mean. Quietly getting about his job, not doing anything stupid like some drivers have been on various occasions. But always being there or thereabouts. Certainly not being outclassed by Halverson, who I've always rated as being thoroughly decent.
Not well, hold on, sorry, what? Not being outclassed? Halverson scored 54 points this year in a podium. Garcia's on 21.
Yeah, but it takes time for these drivers to develop. Also, there is
He's had 2 years.
There's a brilliant drying line on the circuit.
But do you know, I was just about to mention that myself. There is, which is weird considering it is still chucking it down.
I would say, and it seems like I think it's turn 7. There is a distinct lack of rear end grip for everybody,
or just grip.
No, it looks very much like the Monte Carlo rally out there at this point.
I knew you'd get that in at some point. Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see anyone dive in shortly for potentially intermediates. As Nathaniel Powers then goes for an overtake on... That's a camera angle.
I'm not sure that's good for your aerodynamics, having a camera behind you like that.
It's, well, you know, we've literally done everything we can to ensure he doesn't beat class today.
I'm just waiting for the parachute to come out.
That's later.
What, when Ruiz is about to lap him?
Yes. Like, get in his face, and that's followed by a few pyrotechnics as well, just to really add to the effect.
It doesn't help at whatever turn that is. It's not only is there a lack of grip, but most drivers seem to be dipping their rear wheel onto the grass.
Maybe they think that suddenly that green stuff at the side has grip.
I don't know, I'd like to think these drivers are intelligent, but sometimes I have to think otherwise.
This is very true. 25 laps then we are into the Brazilian V-Prix. It's not been a classic so far, has it? We've had the conditions, we've had all of the ingredients, but it's not coming together as yet.
Sometimes you buy everything for your cake, you mix it all up, and then you forget to take it out of the oven after about 4 hours and it's black.
Or you forget to put it in the oven.
Well,
I think it's more what's really happening at the moment.
I would say that's probably a better analogy, because if you forgot to put it in the oven, there's always a chance to put it in, and then eventually you get a good cake.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. You know, we've got all the ingredients; they're sat there, ready and mixed in the bowl.
Yeah.
It's just nothing's happened with them yet because, you know, Dopey has fallen asleep.
Yes.
Possibly with his face in the ingredients.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. A bit of a sidebar. My cake analogy was made firmly with the thought of Gino De Campo in mind.
He's a good man.
Who made my favourite comment by a TV chef ever, which is actually quite a long list, where he was saying that something didn't happen because if his grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bike.
Oh, I remember that one. That must have been on This Morning. Not like This Morning, as in today, but This Morning, the TV show.
For international viewers, ITV in the UK shows a programme around 10:30 every day called This Morning.
And funnily enough, it airs this morning.
It's kind of late morning, in my opinion.
Well, it's still this morning.
Absolutely. What have we got going on the circuit? Unfortunately, still not a lot.
Yeah, Dopey's still asleep in his cake mix.
Yes, absolutely. See, I told you I would end up talking about this race as if it's an endurance race, which means you talk about everything except the motorsport.
I've got an idea.
Okay.
While we have nothing much going on circuit.
Yeah.
Franklin.
Yes. The end of an era, somewhat. Well, very what?
Absolutely. Most definitely.
Yeah, I think the only thing to say is that as somebody who likes to think who's been their kind of fiercest competitor over the course of a sustained period. No, over a sustained period. You were last at one point.
Well, I wasn't quite last.
Well, no,
I was near last.
You weren't as close as I was, but I'm saying closest competitor insofar as there was a good 3 or 4 year period where nobody could touch them.
Indeed.
That ultimately you were lucky if you were getting a race victory during the season. They were that dominant. And from a personal point of view, I think it's sad that we're losing one of the finest teams in Formula Virtual history. I think you have to be honest and say that they are the best team that have been in Formula Virtual.
I'd say so personally.
yeah, I think the last 2 or 3 years have kind of belied their success. That they're not the team they once were. But I don't think that's them getting worse at all. I think that's the quality of the field has improved to the point where the rules as well have kind of congregated in the favour of competition. So it's a shame that they haven't quite managed to go out with the same sustained success. But in some ways, as much as you wouldn't want it to happen, I think them winning the championship would be a fitting way for their Formula Virtual life to end.
I'm quite glad that we've been the first and therefore only team to have gone legitimately toe to toe with Franklin over a whole season, and at least in one of the championships come out on top.
I think that's fair enough. I would have tried to do the same in 2016, but if I'd have gone toe to toe with Franklin, I wouldn't have even come second in the championship.
Indeed, and I think we've taken a first title in rather dominant fashion. We've won a drivers' championship that came out of absolutely nowhere last season, which we'll swiftly move on from. I very much hope we will go on to win more championships, hopefully equally in as dominant fashion. But I think personally for me, there's not going to quite be anything that will top beating Franklin over the course of the season.
Oh no, I entirely agree with that. I think...
Oh, is Nathaniel Powell, sorry, very, very nearly loses it. Coming through the final part of the Center S's there.
Wow. I think he's rattled. I think he's pushing a little bit too hard, perhaps.
I think it's not him. We've actually put his 3-month-old in the car.
I was going to say, have you broken his suspension geometry or something?
No, it's his 3-month-old son.
Oh. To be fair, at that point, I'd still expect his kid to be beating some of the field.
He is.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, that is a very good point. Way and again. I don't know whether I think Mrs. Ollier is auditioning for a role within Ford's virtual rally team.
Yes.
He's really going for it.
But yeah, sorry, I was distracted by Powers there. Yeah.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yeah. I think that ultimately, certainly for the success that I've had, the first thing was excellent. I've beaten Franklin finally.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. I think that there's very much the case that next season, in particular, a victory will still mean just as much, and it will still be just as sweet. But a lot of people will look at it forever with the caveat of yes, but you didn't have to beat Franklin to get there.
Yeah.
But I think long term, that's things change, things move on, and ultimately all that means is that there's another seat at the top table that is ready and waiting for whoever is able to reach it.
But is there though? I mean, people keep saying this, and this gives this sort of like idea that we can only have 3 top teams. Well, I'm not sure that's true. But I think it's entirely possible we could go into next season with there only being 2 top teams, or indeed that could expand and we could have 4 or 5.
No, absolutely, that's what I'm saying. I think that it opens up the opportunity, and it will motivate teams that haven't up until now been motivated to push on and to become better. And I think you're right. I think next season, I think there's going to be a gulf in class between some of the grid. Put it that way.
You mean between the team at the top and everyone else?
I mean, I couldn't possibly. Oh, hello.
As Giordano there, very, very wide around turn 3, and Felix Perez has just absolutely rear-ended Mario on Lopez. Yeah, Perez then nearly wiped out Giordano, and then attempted to wipe out Lopez as well.
Absolutely. I think both the first driving a very feisty race for different reasons and with different results.
Yeah, maybe they're keen to be rid of this car. It's not been the worst season first.
Wow.
They finished a solid 4th in the championship, and they've picked up 2 podiums along the way. 2 podiums along the way.
That's a bit.
Oh, class pits. And that's for another set of wet tyres.
That would make sense.
Why is he the only one in though?
That is a very good point. I was momentarily distracted by Hoskins thoroughly outbraking himself into turn 4, somehow just stopping the car enough for him to make the pass stick.
I did notice that one.
that was a very good dive bomb.
So Klaas van Snelheid then, who was running second but some considerable amount of time behind Enrique Ruiz, has just pitted and fallen to 5th.
Yeah, moving Adrian Simon up into second, at least momentarily. It's a shame though that for Davenport at least that he hasn't got up, but that's I think that is definitely crucial that Klaas, if he is further back from where he needs to be, he needs to make sure there's nobody in front of him that's going to cause him to lose any more time than is absolutely necessary.
You mean like Ellington?
Who is 8 seconds up the road and surely going to pit before he gets there if the wet tyres don't stop.
Simon pits, Kinnaman pits, here we go then.
I will always trust Adrian Simon to make me look right. And Ellington in pits as well now.
Yeah, so once again Ruiz goes a lap later. They've gone on to Inters. Klaas isn't on Inters.
Okay, this is...
This could be absolutely huge then in terms of the championship, as Klaas van Snelheid has remained on the full wet tyres while Adrian Simon, Timo Kinnaman, Lewis Ellington and those behind have switched to the intermediates.
This is a huge call. Ruiz now is kind of in the box seat because he's on the same tyres as his rival, albeit... Oh no, I thought somebody had crashed out of the pit lane. Same tyres as his rival, albeit slightly older, but that extra lap will give him just that little bit of crucial data of whether or not, for when he does stop, to put him onto the intermediates or to stick with the wets.
Yeah, absolutely, and crucially he's not losing time at the moment. Everyone else coming in then, and I think they are all opting for the intermediate tyres, and Ruiz finally pits then. What will they... Oh, he's been hit by Powers! Enrique Ruiz has been hit in the pit lane by Nathaniel Powers!
Oh no!
And he's out! No, that's not Ruiz's wheel!
Quick work from the Franklin boys there to get it back to the pit stall and make the repairs that are necessary.
Yeah, so Ruiz then into his pit box. And what are the chances that of everyone to collect him in the pit lane is Nathaniel Powers?
He's going to do it again! Oh, wow. Well done there from Powers, actually. It all went wrong, but he did stay there and made sure that he didn't wipe out anybody for a second time. That was one of the AMRs in the pit lane there, very much out of the race.
That's Dmitry Kovalenko then, who, as you just said, is looks very much out of the race. I think it's one of the Lucases as well. That's Arden Hutchinson.
Lucas, frankly, both of them were being a liability anyway.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, so, right. Well, all of that means Klaas van Snelheid now leads here in Brazil, but we think he might be on the wrong tyres.
I'm absolutely flabbergasted. This has... And
you know
Van
Snelheid, this was all the ingredients.
Came out of the pits was 4 seconds ahead of Adrian Simon. He is gaining time rapidly on the intermediate runners, I think.
You know, we just said that this had all of the ingredients, but no one had, Dopey had fallen asleep and eating his cake.
Someone turned the oven on.
He's woken up.
Oh, yes.
Klaas pits. Klaas is back in the pits then.
Oh, no.
On the wet tyres, where you're right, he did seem to be gaining time. Klaas van Snelheid pits from the lead as Timo Kinnaman bails and allows his teammate... Oh no, so Simon pits as well, and so does Kinnaman.
They've just pitted on the Inters when Klaas has just gone on to the Inters. What's going to happen?
So some of them have got this right, and some of them have got this very wrong.
Fresh Inters?
Yeah.
Oh! Okay, I'm not sure that...
Jeez, that was close as well. So Ruiz goes back into the lead then. Klaas is only now less than 4 seconds behind him. He has switched to the intermediate tyres.
This is incredible.
Oh, that's what happened between Kovalenko and Hutchinson.
We can add that to the long list of reasons that Dmitry Kovalenko probably shouldn't be in a Formula Virtual Car.
Yes.
Wow.
Davenport's 5th now, by the way. Just
That's.
And only 2 seconds behind Kinnaman.
What was Lucas's best ever result? Have they had a podium?
They've won races.
Have they? Okay, that's fine. That's enough.
Right, so is Ruiz going to come back in? Because everyone else has now. Where are we down to? We're down to De La Fuente.
If I had control over my drivers right now, it would be stay out, do nothing, just drive.
Yes, exactly. This is the thing that frustrates me the most about races like this, is that we have no say.
This is madness. I'd just like to take a moment.
He does. Ruiz pits. Ruiz re-pits then from the lead on the intermediate tyres, and presumably this will be for another set of intermediate tyres.
No,
he's gone to the wets.
That's all right. I thought it was going to go onto the slicks there for a second.
Yeah, so did I.
I thought they just hung for a second on the graphics.
So it's the wet tyres then for Enrique Ruiz. Davenport pits from 6th. Klaas van Snelheid takes back the lead. So I think we're exactly at that crossover between the wets and the inters, and no one knows what to do.
I think everyone's on the wrong tyre.
Is there a right tyre at this point?
Yes, a Michelin. Sorry, that's my brand awareness coming out of me there.
Right, Ruiz has rejoined in 3rd. He's on the wets.
Right, it'll be interesting to see now how easily can he dispatch Adrian Simon if indeed the wet is the right tyre.
Yeah, it certainly will, and he's gained time very quickly. He's already right up, tucked under the rear wing of the Frenchman.
Oh wow!
I think the wets are the tyre to be on.
I think you might be right.
Look at the time Simon's losing to Klaas.
Yeah.
Maybe Simon's just struggling in the conditions.
I think there may be a distinct lack of
balance.
Klaas
pits. Klaas is back in the pits.
Oh no.
Here we go again then. The Dutchman pits from the lead. Ruiz is already on the wet, so I'm assuming that Klaas is about to follow him.
They're
all in the pits. Simon pits as well. Klaas has gone onto the mediums.
Slicks.
Klaas has gone for slicks then. So Ruiz, who was just gaining time on the intermediate runners while being on wet tyres, is now going to opt for slicks. Along with everyone else.
Crucially for
Ruiz has gone inters. This is ridiculous.
Right. So now, if it stays slick tyre conditions, and Adrian Simon is on the soft, so if it stays at slick tyre conditions, Van Snelheid pretty much nailed on for one more stop. But then if it stays at slick tyre conditions, Ruiz will have to pit again as well. So actually, Ruiz may have to make an extra stop regardless.
Yeah,
everybody else has gone dry.
Both Franklin and Downton opted for medium tyres for their championship contenders. Once we get to the slicks, Ruiz and Klaas will have the same tyres.
This is hotting up nicely.
I'm just watching the times. I think it's Ruiz who's quicker. I don't think it's quite dry enough for the slicks as yet.
The problem is that if we're that close to the crossover, struggling around on dry tyres is going to be the answer. Losing that 5 seconds in a lap will be much better than having to struggle around on absolutely destroyed wets.
Yeah, right, we're on board with Kinnaman then. Actually, Ruiz is losing time. Wagner's up to 8th.
Bloody hell.
Kanga's 10th. Kanga's back into the points.
There you go. See, you fit the dry tyres to the DS Mathershaw, the balance immediately is restored, and they're so much easier to drive.
Right, Ruiz hasn't pitted. Enrique Ruiz hasn't pitted. He stayed out on the intermediates, while those around him are all on the slicks.
I've now resorted to looking at the sky. This is if I don't know what's going on in a race, you look at the weather.
Let's be fair.
The sky
is clear. Have much danger from behind
bottom.
Immediately, does he? The driver behind him is his teammate Timo Kinnaman. Kinnaman, I was going to say actually he's not going to risk his seat by diving past, but it's his final race. He probably doesn't care anymore. He's been slated so much this year.
But looking at the sky to the south of the circuit, where the weather generally comes in, there is a distinct patch of clear sky. I don't think we're going to get any more rain, particularly soon, certainly.
It's definitely not raining anymore at the moment, is it? It's absolutely stopped out there.
No, and even if the rain does come back again, those wet tyres are going to be absolutely useless.
Yeah, they absolutely will.
Sorry.
Ruiz is 100% losing more time here. As we've got a very, very brief yellow flag then in the first sector. Klaas French now hides in the pits.
Oh, goodness me. And
so Klaas pits from the lead then.
So he must be going for Inters again.
Oh, that was a slide from Timo Kinnaman. I think they are, yeah, because Ruiz stays out. Simon pits as well. Klaas has gone for another set of mediums.
I think that they've all decided that it's far too wet offline. I don't necessarily think it's the racing line that's the issue. You might start to see the drivers diving off the racing line a little bit just to get a little bit of water on the tyres to cool them down slightly.
But they've opted for slicks again.
Have they?
Yeah, Klaas was on the mediums.
Yes, but but why did what?
Klaas pitted from the mediums to put back on mediums.
Okay. All I can say is that I'd very much like to be a Goodyear salesman right now.
Absolutely. Wow, would you though? I mean, you know, all they're currently proving at the moment is that their tyres don't seem to work in any conditions.
No, because they don't work in any conditions, in a 71 lap race you appear to need 70 sets.
Well, this is true. We're going to run out of tyres.
We don't have a tyre allocation.
No, but we only brought 3 sets for each driver. Of each compound.
There's 3 tyres, that's it.
I think they've already started reusing them.
Another wiggle.
Yeah, that was a snap from Ruiz, and Ruiz dials. I went for dives and then changed it to bails halfway through, and that didn't work. Ruiz bails for the pit lane. Klaas takes back the lead. So what's he going to go for? They're all on slicks. Ruiz goes with the same then. Ruiz finally gives in and switches to the medium tyres.
I'm speechless again.
Where is he going to feed? I think he's going to feed back out in 3rd place. In amongst all of this, despite being on literally the wrong tyres for the last 6 laps, Ruiz has practically lost nothing.
The problem is that even if the Klaas was on the right tyre, he then pitted to put more of the right tyre on.
Well, indeed.
So, oh wow.
As did everyone else.
Which effectively gave Ruiz a free pit stop to cover Franklin's mistake.
Yeah, so Ruiz has lucked back into this one then. He has lost the final. Meanwhile, Nathaniel Powers is last. We got tangled up in the pit. He's pitting again. Never mind. The outgoing world champion, ladies and gentlemen.
It is quite interesting with Powers that he races really well, but then when he has a shocker, boy is it a shocker.
It really is, isn't it?
Was it Germany? Whenever.
No. Belgium wasn't great.
No, I think
Germany last year.
Might have been Germany. Germany last year, though. He just gets
hits again.
He gets all of his bad luck out of the way in one race at a time.
He's back to Inters. Klaas French has gone back to the intermediates.
Okay, I refer back to my earlier. Oh, who's that?
That's Kinnaman pushing one of the. That's Kinnaman pushing Osberg into the pit lane. Ruiz doesn't take back the lead though, crucially. Klaas has gained a pit stop over his tyre. Never mind.
Oh.
Right, Kinnaman's gone for slicks.
Oh.
None of them know what to do.
This is absurd.
All they know is that the tyres they're on aren't working.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's not even wet enough to make the joke of at this point what they really need is the hull of a boat.
No, I'm not. I mean, honestly, Kanga's up to 7th.
Yeah, wow. All I can say is that for my first time in the commentary box, I'm being made to look completely incompetent, and I'm not convinced it's entirely my fault.
I think we're all being made to look incompetent, including all of the drivers, and it's none of our fault.
Yeah. Wow.
This is quite possibly one of the most bizarre things I've seen in a race.
Full stop. I'm utterly flabbergasted.
There's that dry line is very white.
That's the problem. It's not a dry line. It's
Oh
snow.
look, class pits again.
Oh God.
Ah, but Ruiz hasn't. And class goes back to the slicks then.
Ruiz seems to have the driving. Ruiz's driving style. I don't know whether it's just it just seems to be a little bit more conducive to just persevering for a lap. And by the time that lap's complete, he's on the right tyre again.
I think that was a mistake from Downton. I don't think they meant to fit the Inters at that point.
Oh, you think that they got the wrong tyres out?
Yeah. Everyone else
Right.
went for the slicks.
Right. Okay.
I think Downton have just cost Klaas van Schnellheid any chance he had of winning this race.
And the world title.
And well, I mean, to be fair, Ruiz, despite his the several tyre errors, has never been lower than 4th. So,
In the words of pit reporter Ted Kravitz's brother Lenny, it ain't over till it's over.
they're not brothers.
They should be. They're both called Kravitz. Well,
I mean, they are.
yes.
De La Fuente's 10.
Awesome.
What I
Damn
don't
it.
understand is suddenly a load of people that weren't in the top 10 a minute ago are in the top 10, such as Kanga and De La Fuente. I
Yeah.
can't see who's lost out.
Well, Wagner's Wagnered off down to 15.
Oh, this is yes. Perez was up there.
Garcia and Halverson have gone.
Swapped places. Oh no, Garcia
They
was
were
ahead
always
of
like that.
So in all of that chaos, they're still half a second apart.
Yes, and Diego Campos has benefited again.
Good old Campos. He started last on the grid. He's only 2 places away from points.
Absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to the days when Diego Campos retires and starts his own team.
And then decides he's going to return and race with them.
Yes.
And it'll be Campos at Campos.
Yes. Ah, hang on. I thought of a potential flaw. We already have a Campos.
We don't.
What do you mean we don't? There's only one world. So we've got to look after it.
There isn't a virtual Campos.
No,
Team.
but virtual Campos sounds crap.
Well, yeah, we wouldn't call them virtual Campos.
Exactly.
But I'm just... Tim. Tim is advertising at the side of this track.
Yes. Can I be a Sado? Telecom Italia Mobile.
Well, frankly, I think Tim should stop advertising and put himself away. It's inappropriate.
Well,
But not as inappropriate as the billboard in Kyalami,
oh, that's
where we will be returning to next year wonderfully.
Yes, I am very much a fan of the South African hospitality and indeed the South African circuit.
And the billboard.
That was the hospitality.
Oh, got ya. We should probably pre-warn Ahmed and tell him not to turn up.
No, he's okay to turn up, but he's not allowed on the home straight.
Is that a euphemism?
Oh, we are in the land of the Brazilian. Anyway, it's no good. It's no good warning him. He doesn't listen to the commentary anyway.
Oh, this is true. Oh dear, it's going to go terribly wrong. Ahmed's going to turn up and see a billboard and get.
No, and hang
all
on, it
lost
might be
and
all right.
confused.
He'll be another year older. It might be okay. Maybe that's going to be his coming of age. He'll eventually watch a South African lead win.
That's pretty sad.
I know. But to be fair, I'm very, very much a fan of the Carlisle circuit. They have quite a lot of sports car heritage, which means I'm immediately a fan. But it's generally the track that's pretty conducive to good racing, especially up at the top of the circuit where you have the kind of medium speed double apex corners.
Yeah, I mean we've been there once before, haven't we?
Yes, and was who won that race?
Carl Beckenbauer did.
Yes, for what team?
At the time, it was Liverpool. Being
And who was
run by
who
Mathershaw.
was running? Yes, so 100% record in South Africa. With Porsche next year, we're very much hoping to maintain that record.
I think we've heard the rumours in the paddock that Porsche Mathershaw next year are going to be like blowing the field away, and I don't think any of us expect any different, to be frank. Why am I absolutely expecting someone else to win in Kyle Army?
I have absolutely no doubt.
Likewise, Turkey. You've always been so dominant in Turkey, but
yeah, I don't know what it is about the turkey.
the turkey. Gobble gobble.
What I'm really disappointed by is that for years we've raced at Turkey. For years we've had news articles afterwards, and nobody made the headline "Turkish delight for race winner."
I don't think we don't do really race articles.
Hang on, Ahmed does, which is a bit of an issue.
But only one or two.
But he's not old.
We've not had them for a while.
Well, there's that, but he's also not old enough to understand the dad pun.
Or know what Turkish delight is, I should imagine.
I bet he does.
I don't know. I would say let's ask, but it's pointless because he won't know.
Hang on, if we ask now in the Discord, by the time that the race is over, he might have responded.
Well, this is entirely.
Oh no, he won't. He's doing the exams.
Oh yeah, no, he's decided he doesn't like any of us anymore.
No,
that's it.
I could have used my exams as that excuse. But
meanwhile, De La Fuente has fallen back out of the points.
I remain unsurprised by this revelation.
It's but I think things seem to have settled down now, don't they? Everyone is back onto.
I feel like
slick tyres. Ruiz is 20 seconds in the lead.
Yeah, the cake was cooked for the good amount of time. It came out. Everyone had a slice. It was lovely. Now everyone's just kind of sitting back in the chair, Sunday afternoon, having a little relax and a snooze.
Well, is this that point, or is this the point between it's come out of the oven and you can't eat it at the moment because it's too fucking hot?
This is where you need a mouth made of asbestos. Wait, hang on a minute. We've got action on the track here. I can't get there.
Action off the track.
The cross-country route, the rallycross joker lap, if you will.
I thought they were meant to be longer.
That one wasn't. It depends whether you're racing rallycross in North America or the rest of the world. They both do it opposite ways, as you'd expect from the Americans.
Naturally.
Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the Americans.
Oh yes, adore them, especially the South Americans.
Oh no, I'm yes. I know where we are. Yes, South. To be fair, I'm not even going to I'd like to go to South America beyond the commentary box at some point.
Well,
save that one.
I'll tell you what. I'll treat you after the race.
Excuse me.
You heard.
Wait, hang on.
We'll get a taxi.
Whoa!
That goes the long way back to the airport.
Excellent. Can we go? The Copacabana is not in Sao Paulo, it's in Rio, isn't it?
Yes.
We won't go there then?
No.
It's a very long taxi ride.
By long way back to the airport, I just mean we'll go in the back entrance.
Oi! No!
That is Diego Campos making a lap. He's putting a lap on Osberg.
At that point,
holy shit!
Whoa! That number 10, the North Star Garcia, absolutely sliced his way to the left there, nearly wiping the Lopez out.
Can I just point out what I've just realised?
Go on.
Well, Campos has just lapped Osberg. Okay.
Yeah. Whoa, hang on. So there's a lap between 12th and... Whoa.
Well, yeah, there's that. But what that also means is that Diego Campos is a lap ahead of Nathaniel Powers.
Oh. I was about to make a point about everyone should probably try and retire at that point. But... that could be, like you get the arcade games where if you're the last person in the race, you get eliminated after a certain amount of time. That could be our version. Is if you get lapped by Diego Campos, you must immediately pull into the pits and retire.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not entirely sure why he hasn't at this point. It's just wasting engine mileage. But, I mean, to be fair, we don't actually need it anymore after today.
No.
It's going in the scrap.
No, if anyone wants a cheap supply of DS Automobiles V10 Formula Virtual engines, I have quite a few going.
Yeah, likewise, we have several Downton units. However, most of them are close to expiring.
Well, that's the thing. We built quite a few that we didn't need in the end, and I don't want them next year.
Well, no, while running with in conjunction with Porsche, it probably wouldn't go down too well.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. But yeah, to be fair, we're still running out of France, so we might be able to con the French into thinking they're Porsche engine. Oui, c'est bien. Pardon. Anyway, what's going on in the race? So, interestingly, Kanga in 6th has managed to get past ahead of Davenport, but hasn't made any inroads whatsoever into any of the top 5. Sorry.
So that puts Davenport down to 7th then.
6 points.
Yes.
With
you knew where I'm going with this.
With Giordano getting 2, I can't remember what I'm adding to. Apart from 0 plus 6 is 6.
Yes. So what that makes literally no difference.
I would say that
still puts Lucas in 10th because it's currently in 10th for Andromeda on 5, and De La Fuente has fallen out of the points.
Excellent. Okay.
And Ocelot currently only have 1.
Do Andromeda and Franklin count towards finances?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know for everybody else. Yeah, that's good to know.
Therefore, the second place prize money will not be awarded to anyone this season.
No, I'm reliably informed that the money will be donated to virtual charities.
Yes, my wallet is looking far healthier than it was.
As is mine.
I'd like to point out that by that I mean my personal wallet, rather than my team's.
Oh no! How do you think that next year the rumours are so true that we're going to have a good car? To be fair, I think
you've stolen Franklin. To be honest, and just repainted it.
Listen,
partially.
Sod off. I think you'll find that my relatively lacking results for the past season have kind of underlined the fact that I probably have to spend an awful lot this year.
I mean, the clues are very much there.
Yes. I mean,
you have won 2 races this season.
I was going to say, how soul destroying must it be for everybody who's still behind me?
Oh no, Powers in the pits.
Again.
Yeah.
To be fair, that was quite a good run there. He did quite a good long run there.
You see, the thing is, he felt he wasn't quite last enough. So he decided to just make himself a little bit more last.
He's going to start driving around backwards to get behind the people who haven't actually finished.
This is exactly, because to the point he's now 2 laps down. Oh, he's missed his moment. The point of him still running was that he could block through ease and run him out. But
to be fair, I think there's an ulterior motive. I think Powers might be trying to win the 2018 race again.
I mean, while I love that joke, I have to point out he didn't win it.
Well, that's fair enough. He's trying to add it to his collection. See, that kind of joke will work a lot better if I was commentating on something like IMSA, because I actually know what happened.
Yes, there's Davenport. Oh, of course, because Davenport is on the extra soft red-walled tyres as well, isn't he? And that could really cost him. Davenport then rejoins in 10th.
I mean, I'm not sure that the extra softs have ever been a viable strategy option, but, never mind.
I'm sure they've won 1 race, at least. They have! Canada 2017, we were beaten by North Star.
Yes.
When they ran what were then super softs.
Because we were driving around the circuit while there were penguins swimming through St. Lawrence Seaway.
Precisely, it was that cold. We were sat in the commentary box with 3 coats on each.
I was sound the pit wall, however, we could afford a space heater.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, so,
We don't get that kind of budget up here.
Oh. So why don't you just
I'm
spend...
grateful you've got a window.
To be fair, if we didn't have a window, I'd make one.
That would just be a hole in the wall.
No, it's called the door.
Well, usually they take that away.
What, and then you stay locked in the room forever?
Well, no, but until the race is over.
You don't really like making your job easy, do they?
No, that's why there's a bucket in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
That's not to drink out of.
They gave me the key to the toilet.
There's a toilet?
Somewhere.
Oh.
See, that's the thing. The people that do all the production down in the pit lane actually really like me. How do you think at the at one of the races earlier this year, I kept getting free beer?
Well, this is a very good point. Maybe I should go down to the pit lane.
You're not
Actually,
leaving.
I'm slightly concerned I might just be run over.
You're not leaving me up here on my own. I cannot do this on my own. I can barely do this anyway. The only thing I've got going for me here is the fact I'm still speaking. And even then, that's not necessarily a good thing.
Well, we'll let the people at home judge that one.
Yes, if you could judge that, if you like my commentary, send £10 to the following address. If you don't, send 50.
What if they're indifferent to it?
That's 25.
That's not fair enough.
Oh, that's fine. Because the more you pay me, the less likely I am to need to come back.
This is it. There we go then, guys. Likewise, the same works for me if you want to, boost my wages for nothing.
See, I always get paid as well, so.
I'm being screwed here.
Yeah, well, it's a French production team. What do you expect?
Sacre bleu.
Well, they're going to take money off you now.
They can't take nothing from nothing. No, hang
No,
on. They can't
no.
take something from nothing.
No, you're just going to have to pay them.
I'm not doing that. I have nothing to pay them with.
I was going to make this make this point last time. Nothing was happening on the screen and out the window, which means that if I try and make the point again, maybe something interesting will happen. I just want to appreciate the first livery. It's grown on me so much over the past couple of years. I'm actually a real fan of it.
My God, it has. I can see the blue.
It's
You
nice.
should probably wash.
Oh, that. Okay, that's not the first livery.
Oh.
Yeah, that's it's body paint.
Were you in a festival before this?
Well, yeah, we're in the land of the carnival. Of course, I was.
Yes, not as much.
So, I was about to say Mads Osberg. Sorry, Victor Osberg.
Matt.
Victor Osberg joined Powers there on the elite club of 2 laps down.
I dare say Mads would be doing a better job.
To be fair, in these weather conditions, he probably would have thrived quite a lot.
And he probably wouldn't have pitted quite so many times. Primarily because he has no idea what a pit stop is.
He'd go in, it's like, I've done 5 service parks this race.
He'd dive into the pit lane, jump out of the car and try and do it himself.
Yes, he'd just get a spanner out. Oh dear.
I think there's plenty of them stood around in the pit lane.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, most of them are wearing DS Automobiles attire at this point.
I wondered where you were going with that. I wondered who you were going to aim to offend.
Oh no, I'm going to offend myself on the premise that if I'm saying oh god, Kanga's in the pits.
I was just going to say, Alar Kanga then pits from 6th place. I was just going to mention... Oh yeah, there we go. So Kanga was behind Zazolya earlier. I'm just going to go back to the race for a minute because there is still something happening. Kanga was behind Zazolya earlier. He's gone up to 6th and Zazolya's managed to not.
Oh, excellent. Sorry, I'm just googling something for a split second.
No, that's quite alright. There's Carson Davenport there, with Lopez and Giordano also in the pits, goes back up to 8th place.
Yeah.
What does all this mean? De La Fuente goes back into 10th.
Ooh.
That would mean a difference in the Constructors' Championship at the moment.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty neat. While we've still got the first on the screen, I'm just going to go back to the shark fin. On one side, there is the American flag. On the other is another flag I'm not familiar with.
Carolina, isn't it?
Well, I just looked up the. Oh, hang on. Have I looked at the wrong Carolina? I'm awfully sorry, Adam.
Is it south?
Yes, it's the South Carolina flag, and I may have accidentally put a different compass direction before Carolina.
West.
I'm not that thick.
Oh, we have a yellow flag in the middle sector.
Ooh,
Eyes to the timing screens. It's no one.
It's nowhere in the top 11
from what I can see.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's Powers again. Oh, it's Osberg. Never mind.
Oh, and Powers gains another position.
Alternatively, he also... Oh no, because Osberg had pitted, hadn't he? So I think he'd already slipped behind Powers, so Powers just resumes his position of last.
Okay. Yeah, this is interesting.
But, he's not retired yet. 6 people have. If 9 people retire, he's back in the lead.
To be fair, I think a lot of this race has looked a little bit less entertaining than it was, purely because the race director or the TV director hasn't really followed the right action.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's
So that was Osberg retiring then, because he rear-ended Gabriele Garcia, and Powers then did decide to give him a nudge.
Powers nudges in that way. And Adrian Simon back to the pit lane.
Yeah, Ellington follows him in then. So this is the guys making a scheduled stop, really, isn't it?
Yeah, this is groundbreaking, really.
Yeah. Oh, as we've got, that looks like an Andromeda recovering from an off.
Yeah, I think he was.
It's De La Fuente. So what that does, that puts Klaas van Snelheid then back up into second. When did he last pit?
A while ago, relatively speaking.
The problem is we've not had enough dry running to actually work out stint lengths.
I think when we look back at the timing, everyone's going to have done about 12 pit stops anyway.
Oh yeah, but I'm just if we have no rain now to the end of the race, I think those that have just pitted on the soft tyres, your Adrian Simon, your Lewis Ellington, are good to go to the end.
I would just say my intuition was that with the time that was left, the mediums would be pitting right at the end of the stint, and the softs will be pitting more towards the middle of the stint.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one then. But what have the extra softs been doing? That's been about 9-10 laps, hasn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
So the soft tyres should be okay. Looking at when Klaas pitted, let's keep an eye on that one. I'm not convinced that Klaas van Snelheid can make it to the end of the race here.
I don't think he can. But then I don't think Ruiz will be able to either.
Well, no, absolutely. But I think Ruiz is clear and gone, to be honest.
Well, it's something to do, isn't it? Interestingly, the Ford looks like it's got plenty of grunt against the Downton that I think probably is widely held as one of the best engines on the grid. But that Ford holding its own all the way up the long back straight there. Back to front straight.
Curved straight.
Yeah, well, if you don't lift off the throttle, it's straight to me.
So many jokes.
Yeah, well. And there is the man that is set to be finishing second in the Drivers' World Championship.
For the second time in his career.
Where did he finish? Where did he finish the first time?
Second.
Hey? Did he? How many seasons has he been in Formula Virtual?
3.
Okay, where did he finish the first time?
Second.
Okay. It's the second season I'm wondering about then.
5th.
5th, there you go. Okay. Diego Campos fighting hard to stay on the lead lap here.
Yeah, the second time he'll have gone into a championship decider and not come out on top as it stands. But this time he didn't have the advantage, unlike he did in 2017.
You've got it must be quite difficult for a young guy like that that's coming into this position. He's in such a good car, such a good team, such a good position in general. And every time, whether it be him as the favourite or as the underdog, it just hasn't come off. Like, that must be a very big psychological issue.
Yeah, you'd imagine so, and I dare say that was a large part of what led to his rather disappointing year last season.
Yeah, I think last season was just generally quite hard fought.
Campos lost his fight, by the way.
First of many that he's going to lose, so that's fine.
I don't think it's the first. I think he's lost several already.
Yeah.
Mind you, that is a stellar effort to be running 10.
Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. For somebody, oh my goodness, this is...
Yeah, that's going to be an incident. There we go. Zazolia down the inside of... that was Johan Halverson, and the two of them have come together. Managed to get away with that one, but they have both lost, 2 positions each, I think?
Yeah, they're not... they applied a bit of common sense after the incident had started, but unfortunately... Hang on, oh no, it's alright. I thought for a split second there was a first rear wing there, but it might have just been a graphical glitch. Or indeed my eyes.
I think it might be your eyes. The problem is the first front wing is a very similar colour in places to the tarmac.
Yes. You can't say the same about the Lucas.
I mean, you could, but that would have to be some bright coloured tarmac.
Or very, very good hallucinogenics.
Yes. I have some of them. Would you like some?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
Bloody hell.
We have a yellow flag in sector 1.
We have a
Oh, that looks
There's
like 2
Andromeda.
Andromedas. It is 2 Andromedas. That is one without a rear wing, and one, I think, without a front wing.
Well, that's good. Marshall will be able to build an entire Andromeda by the end of the race.
Well, what a way to end your career.
To be fair, in the case of De La Fuente, it's not going to be the end of his career.
I mean, to be fair, it's not for Will Hoskins either. He's off to first next season.
No, I know, but Hoskins is confident. I'm surprised at De La Fuente.
Oh, well, this is true. But, right, here we go then. What happened? It was De La Fuente ahead, side by side with Garcia. It
wasn't the greatest bit of driving from Hoskins, but I'm not going to place the blame solely. I think that was almost just a very bad racing incident.
Why is he on the intermediates is the question I'm wondering.
I don't know, if you run the intermediates for long enough, they end up kind of split.
Very possibly then. There's that's a Franklin off the turn 1. It's Enrique Ruiz! Enrique Ruiz from the lead of the race here in Brazil is off at turn 1, and he looks like he's out of it. That hands the lead to Klaas van Snelheid, and the championship could suddenly swing.
That is unbelievable. I can see from the window, the Franklin boys are absolutely
There we go then,
living.
sorry to cut across you, that's the replay. The brakes, it's a brake failure for Ruiz down into turn 1. It's pitched him off the road and he's out with 10 laps to go. Here in Brazil, Klaas van Snelheid for the first time, this race moves into championship position.
That is incredible. If what I was saying earlier about it being demoralising is one thing, this would be something else entirely. Getting this kind of good fortune to back up good results throughout the season, that is incredible.
And look at this, the closest man who has any chance now of denying him and handing the title back to Ruiz is his teammate Timo Kinnaman.
That, you couldn't write it. If you wrote this, people would completely reject it as being so unreasonable. Wow.
Klaas van Snelheid then. There's a yellow flag in the middle sector. It's not Klaas, he's on the start-finish straight. Curb thing. Klaas van Snelheid leads here in Brazil with 9 laps to go.
And at the moment, you have the entirety of Brazil hoping and praying for a Finnish victory.
Oh, that's a first. Felix Perez then retires and crikey, they're dropping like flies now, aren't they?
Yeah, this is it's a big race of attrition. Interestingly, I was saying that first was looking quick in a straight line. Everybody knows that your engine gets at its most loosest and produces the most power just as it's about to go pop.
There we go. So, well, that kind of ruins... Whoa, his class very, very loose there, trying to lap Gabriele Garcia, and he's absolutely all over the place. Timo Kinnaman is now on Klaas van Snelheid.
Wow, I'm giving the Downton team doctor a ring to make sure he's up here for when you inevitably have palpitations.
Too late.
The back marker there, giving Van Snelheid a valuable couple of car lengths. That's going to be crucial going into turn 1 here.
On board with Kinnaman then. He's going to be too far back, but at this point, I get the feeling Franklin would rather he just kind of throw a move.
I would say at this point, it can be Monte Carlo or bust, and both of them ends up being winning the jackpot for Ruiz.
Yeah, absolutely could then. This is not a position that I think Downton or Klaas expected to be in this race. It was the one they dreamed of, but
if we're
not
being
one
honest,
that was expected.
I don't think Franklin were expecting to be in this position either.
Oh no.
What?
Well, I was working out a minute ago and I didn't think Klaas could make the end.
Oh no! What tyres does Kinnaman on? Medium.
Mediums
Kinnaman
as well, but I think, didn't he pit later?
I don't think it was significantly later, but Simon's on the softs. If he's already pitted, if we think we can get to the end.
Simon, we're convinced, can make the end of this race. He only had about 12 laps to go when he made his stop, didn't he?
Yeah, and other than that, it's Ellington and Kanga that we have to think about.
This is by no means settled here in Brazil. We've got 7 laps left to run, and while it looks...
The problem is, this is a lottery at this point, because we've seen it before that people have managed to e-clap 1 extra lap out of the tyre. But we've also seen it that people have inexplicably pitted with a lap to go when it looked like they were all set to be nailed on for the victory. So anything could happen.
Absolutely could. And there's that persistent threat of not only back markers who keep getting in the way as Klaas van Snelheid nearly gets very crossed up with Thierry Zylander there. There's the persistent threat of back markers and Timo Kinnaman, who will not sod off and will be absolutely desperate.
Oh, decisive move there from Kinnaman to get past the back marker following Van Snelheid through.
Yeah, very, very impressive from the Finn. He's absolutely sticking with this. To be fair, he's been treated a bit shit all year. I'm not entirely sure he will want to hand Franklin the title.
I don't know. You're absolutely right, but I don't think I've seen Kinnaman drive as well as actually these last 5 laps.
No, this is true, and I think for Kinnaman it's about taking the race win, isn't it? He is out there to prove that he's still very much the driver that a lot of people thought he was at the start of this season. Absolutely.
At the end of the day, you're right. There might be a bit of it that's like, don't give the victory to Franklin, but ultimately, Franklin are gone next year. He needs to drive. He's a clever enough man to know that.
Drive.
Sorry?
He's got to drive.
No, I mean, but he needs to prove himself. He needs to be able to carry on as a fierce competitor, and ultimately shafting your own team to prove a point is not the way to sell yourself to people in the future.
No, this is very, very true then. I can't take this. I'm getting fed up with these tense title deciders. Can we not be in one next year?
No, don't worry, I'm not planning for you to be in it at all.
I'd like to have a year off now.
But
either that or have both titles wrapped up with like 4 races to go. I'd take that.
You're not doing that either. To borrow a phrase from a legend of commentary booths just like this one, albeit with proper lavatory facilities, you can cut the tension with a cricket stump.
I can't sit down.
That's piles.
No, it's nerves.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's piles. Who was that just pitting? Oh, it's Halverson, sorry.
Oh, fuck. We're literally watching him on screen.
And Zylander in the pits as well, having just held up the 2 race leaders, then decided to pit.
At least Halverson got out of the way beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
we've got a yellow flag in the first sector.
But it's neither.
Was that rain? Did I just see rain?
I don't.
No.
No, I don't think so. Surely not.
No rain could help.
Yes, they're going to need to pit, but if it stays as it is, and we are right in our conviction that this medium tyre runners need to pit, they may be dancing on the streets of Le Mans with a final victory for DS automobiles in Formula Virtual. And as much as that would possibly taint the title in terms of your enjoyment, I'd like nothing more than to send them out on a high.
What tyres is Kanga on?
Softs.
What tyres is Ellington on?
Not a clue. Oh, 1-2 would do it. Right, Vasquez there, grinding to a halt.
Ellington's on softs as well.
Right, okay.
Kinnaman pits!
Kinnaman pits.
Timo Kinnaman then did not pit after Klaas van Snelheid. He has not made the end of this race on that set of tyres. The mediums cannot reach the end. Klaas van Snelheid has 4 laps to go.
Oh my goodness.
Could this be the most heartbreaking of
This is
moments?
unbearable. Run it to the canvas, boys.
I mean, at this point, you'd just stay out, surely. You'd
At
risk it all.
At this point, you do Kimi Räikkönen at the Nürburgring 15 years ago.
It's win it or bust.
It's got to be. Oh, man.
You might be about to take a double podium here.
I know, I'm...
Kanga's going to be 3rd from 17th. That's ridiculous. Klaas is going to pit, isn't he?
I think, unfortunately, I think it's inevitable that he's going to have to pit. I think it's this lap.
A little twitch there. And in he comes. Klaas van Snelheid then pits from the lead of the race with just over 3 laps to go from being in championship position with Enrique Ruiz out of the race. They've decided it just won't make it.
Wow, that is unbelievable.
I'm somewhat surprised he's even going back out.
Oh, the heartbreak. Wow. I think you've got to hand it to Downton, the way that they've played this race. They've been there till the very end, and unfortunately, sometimes, as much as you are right, win it or bin it, but you can't take the lives of these drivers out of their own hands. You've got to give them machinery and tyres that's going to produce, that's going to give them the performance they need to be safe as much as anything.
Oh, that's Kinnaman out.
Kinnaman! Oh no!
As Klaas van Snelheid gets showered in flames then.
Oh no!
Timo Kinnaman. And that's not how you want to see Franklin exit Formula Virtual. They're not going to score any points.
Not at all, but how bitter must it be for Van Snelheid to pass him on track, but still not actually... So, oh wow. I hope that the team have managed to get the message to Van Snelheid that it wasn't Kinnaman that he was racing for the title now. And I hope that he knows already, because I don't want to see a situation where a driver crosses the line thinking they're the world champion when they're not. That is incredible. I think, wow. But Adrien Simon does lead the race somehow, and as you say, can get up from 17th to 3rd. I don't think there was nobody at the factory back at Le Mans or in the race team that could even conceivably think that this was how the relationship with DS Automobiles was going to end. Wow.
As you say then, 2 laps to go here in Brazil. Adrien Simon leads. He's got 3.5 seconds back to Lewis Ellington, who's driven a brilliant race for Meteor to pick up what is going to be his second podium for the team.
Yeah.
Stunning drive from the Brit. Kanga looks as though he's going to complete the podium in 3rd with a... I mean, we were slating him earlier on. Halfway through this race, he was still nowhere near the points. Now he's 3rd. Stellar effort there. I think mainly made up in the random period we had earlier on.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the minor placings, Davenport 6th, Giordano 7th. So as we said, it will be 8 versus 7 in favour of Lucas.
Yeah, that does put Lucas into 10th then.
Campos in 8th for Chima. What's
that gives them
Dave?
4 points. They're on 2, so they go on to 6.
Right. So, okay. Wow. So it's one of these races yet again where we've had all of the smaller teams gaining ground with points, but actually they've all almost cancelled each other out because they've all had a good race.
Yeah, there we go then. On board with Klaas van Snelheid. The Dutchman threw everything he could at this one. It fell his way, but it just wasn't meant to be. Adrian Simon now has just a few corners to go, and as soon as he crosses the line, we will have a champion. It won't be Adrian. He'll, if he'd managed this last year, he'd have been absolutely delighted. But
Don't go there.
it wasn't. Wasn't to be. We've got a yellow flag in the final sector on the last lap. It's not Klaas. I was expecting that to be Klaas. Here comes Adrian Simon then, round the final corner here in Brazil in 2019. It's Simon who wins the race, and it's Enrique Ruiz who wins the title as a result. Klaas failing to win means Ruiz is the champion in 2019. It's his second championship victory, following up from his inaugural title win in 2014. Alar Kanga completes the podium. Klaas van Snelheid, a very despondent fourth. He will, we know, we've seen in the past Klaas shows his emotions after a race. I don't think he'll want to speak to anyone. Lopez, where did Lopez take 5th from? Wow. Carson Davenport, absolutely phenomenal for Lucas. Finishes 6th, and that will put Lucas 10th in the Constructors' Championship. But it's Enrique Ruiz then, who is the Drivers' Champion. Franklin and Downton went toe-to-toe this season. It's the first time, I think, in Franklin's career that they have had a season-long battle. They didn't come out on top in the Constructors' Championship. Whatever you put that down to, be it technical problems, a not fantastic second driver choice, bad luck, whatever, Downton beat them overall. But Enrique Ruiz has proved that he was the best driver this season and has taken the 2019 title. Franklin failed to score in their final race, and that is not the way anyone would have wanted to see it end. But Adrian Simon wins in Matheshaw's final race with DS, and in Franklin's final race in Formula Virtual, Enrique Ruiz is the Drivers' World Champion. So there we have it then. The official classification shows Adrian Simon as the winner here in Brazil from Lewis Ellington and Alar Kanga, but with Klaas van Snelheid only 4th, Enrique Ruiz is the Drivers' Champion for the second time in his career. Nathaniel Powers from pole position. That early incident means he only finishes 13th, but he does take fastest lap. And well, Ruiz and Kinnaman, double retirement for Franklin. Absolutely not the way for them to end their career. But as we say, the Drivers' Championship, Ruiz does take the title then. 2019 Formula Virtual World Champion is the Brazilian, his second career title, by 7 points in the end over Klaas van Snelheid. Some movers and shakers behind him. The most noticeable is Carson Davenport, who's gone up 11 places into 20th, having scored his and Lucas's first and therefore only points of the season. And that makes quite a difference in the Constructors' Championship as well. Obviously, Downton were confirmed last time out as the champions. Franklin, Mathershaw in first, rounding out the top 4 spots. But look at that, Lucas then up 4 places with those 8 points into 10th. Ocelot gained a place as well. Chima drop, Andromeda drop, and AMR drop. But massive shake-up at the bottom of the championship. But those are our champions, Ruiz and Downton, for the 2019 season. It's been a pleasure to talk you through everything. And, well, I can't wait for 2020. But that's all from Sao Paulo, and indeed our 2019 season. So from both me and Robert, and Lily, and Alex, and everyone else who's joined us this season, thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next time for the opening round of 2020 from Melbourne, Australia,